This is Luton. Hi guys, and so today we're going to be talking about this thing, team stacking. Now, I had not really heard this term until the last couple of weeks, and I hadn't heard it through the whole of Battlefield 3 up to already now, or in Bad Company 2 at all. I mean, obviously it makes sense as a phrase, you know, stacked team. You know, they basically mean that there's a lot of good players on one team. I would just call that an imbalanced team, though. I wouldn't call it team stacking. But I think the term team stacking, it leans directly towards an admin. And I guess that's why I wanted to address it, really, because what it is that whilst I've been playing the last 2 weeks, as you see, I'm doing it right here, right now. I'm moving 1 or 2 players around to try and help balance the teams. You might also notice that I've actually given my team less players than the other side to sort of try and help balance things out a little bit from other games that we've been playing. I think we won the round before, so I just moved. I noticed they didn't have an extra player or whatever, so I've just moved 1 player across to try and help balance the team up a little bit. But this is the thing, is that I will often move. I know some of the people that play on my server, so I know who are good players and who are not good players. I will often try to move around 1 or 2 players to help balance the team. But as a server admin, and also I have to say, I think being a YouTuber, it comes into it slightly as well. People have this sort of expectation that you're going to, you know, be making all these perfect choices all the time, and you guys should see, I get constant PSN messages when I'm online and on my server, people telling me balance the servers, you know. I cannot go in and constantly move individual players around just because one game happens to be going one way. You can't do that. I'm posting this roundup because it's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Now, in this round, my team is playing quite strong, but it's not that we are absolutely dominating. We're not spawn trapping them. Look, we've got a lot of players right back here. Okay, we're around the MCOMs, so we're not pushed right up to their base or anything. I will say that as the game progresses, I think sheerly out of boredom more than anything else, my players start to move forward more than they are right now. But the thing is, this whole concept of team stacking, what it sort of really aims at is that you as an admin, or perhaps even the people say, oh, they've stacked a server or whatever, okay, and what they mean is that you've probably got 2 squads of players, okay, that you always play with and that you know are good players, and gone into a map, and it means that you're basically, you know, having very, very strong games against the enemy. Now, as far as I know, is that not just playing with your friends? Because I don't really see how it's a really negative thing. And also, is that not why people join clans for 2 reasons, okay? People join clans so that they can have good people to play with and not just have randoms constantly, and they also join to play competitively or whatever, or they're just looking for a community. But this is the other point, is that on my server, okay, my clan is called Veritas Gaming, alright, and I've been running it with a few, well, I'm running it less now because I'm very occupied with YouTube and doing stuff like this, but I've been running and working with a couple of guys, people that I've been playing with for probably 5 or 6 years in FPS now, through the whole of Call of Duty, and I went through a few clans, and now Veritas Gaming is one that I run, or had been running, I've been very involved with, but less involved with now, till recently. But the point is that in Veritas Gaming, we have a group of perhaps 60 players in Battlefield 3, maybe more even now, I don't know. But between the US and the EU, we have a lot of players there. If you're interested in joining Veritas Gaming, check out, I'll put a link to the clan below. You can join up, and there's various people like myself who are, you know, relatively moderate players. There's some people that are better than others, and it's just a good community for people to play in. But anyway, the point is that these guys I play with, oh yeah, by the way, notice I accidentally took the engineer class here, and I was like, Christ, I didn't want engineer, what the hell is this going to be used? I noticed this sniper, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll try and RPG him, and I was like, oh, splash damage, yeah, I'll just pick him off with like 2 rounds, so that worked out quite well. But anyway, this is the other thing, is that I've had people say to me like, oh, Luton, you've got all your VG guys on your team, and you're stacking it. Well, the thing is, I don't make them come and play on the server. They know what my server is, they have it favorited because they're in my clan and they play with me, but they will join my server, okay, and they could end up on either team. I don't automatically like go, oh, VG guys, they've got to go on my team, and I move them. They will join and they'll just end up on either team, and I don't move those guys around. If I do move them around, it's only as in the way that I would, you know, it's only in the way that I would swap anyone around. It's not because I want to play with those guys. And also, I'll tell you something else. I have played, I can't even tell you how many games I've played with a whole team of VG players, and we've had our ass handed to us, seriously, by a team of randoms. Okay, so and this is the other thing as well, and people, I see this all the time, alright, people always go, oh, we had to play against a team of 100 colonels, and they ruined us, and it was so hard, and they were all 100 colonels. It means nothing. It means nothing, okay? In the same way that I often come into a game, right, this has happened before as well, I come into a game of Battlefield 3, alright, and I come up against an entire clan, or 80% of a clan or whatever in the lobby, and when you start the game you think, oh my Christ, a whole clan, this is going to be really hard, they're going to have like perfect communication, they're just going to destroy us. You start playing the game and all of a sudden, oh, they're actually not actually that good, and you end up wrecking them. So two things there. Having rank means nothing, okay? I know you put a lot of time into the game, but for some people, okay, putting a lot of time into the game strongly does not help their style of gameplay. Often because some people will refuse to change their style of gameplay. They will literally stick to one thing. The other thing, though, is that, with clans, again, clans mean nothing. It just means that you're playing with a group of people. And that's it. It doesn't necessarily mean that automatically you guys are going to be really, really astonishing players. So that's one thing that I really don't get. And often people call out like team stacking. They say, that it's that you're either clan or they're all a very, very high rank. But when it comes to my server, you see, this is another thing. Is because I belong to VG as a clan. What happens is if I have like 4, 5, 6 VG guys on my server and they happen to end up on my team, I've had people PSM message me and go, oh, you've stacked the teams, what the F? And it's like, I have not done that. They just happen to be on my team. And as I say, I've played many games where we've had a whole lot of VG on my team and really not done very well. So it really doesn't mean anything there either. But this whole thing of team stacking, I mean, I really just don't get where people come from. If you're having a very hard game and you're against a team where maybe your team just is very, very poor, well, you can do one thing. You can either stay in the lobby and hope that the game improves, because if you stay in a round, which is, I often try to, okay, I will fully admit I don't always have the patience to stay in a round, okay. There are times when I have been in a bad game and I'm a bit tired from work and I'm just not in the mood, and I think, oh, do you know what, screw this, I'm going to find, I'll play close quarters, or I'm going to do something that's more enjoyable for me, okay. Or I will say, do you know what, my team is getting destroyed here, but I'm going to stick with it because I want to give this other team a bit of resistance. I want to show them that there are some players who are really going to throw it back at them, even though they're having a hard game. And I will stay in a round and I will get destroyed, but at least I'm trying, and at least I'm trying to have a fight with those players. The other thing I would say, people that play on my server and then say, oh, Luton, you've just stacked the team because you moved like the best player from one team to another, or whatever, or they say, oh, you've dumped a couple of bad players or whatever. Whenever I do that, I will try and move 1 or 2 people, because you can't move a lot of people in one go, all right, because that would be too, you don't know what kind of effect that's going to have on the game. The other thing is, like I say, you cannot balance a server every round, because not only are the maps different, but the players may play different, they may learn from round to round, so you can't be moving players like constantly, alright? You have to leave like 1 or 2 rounds to see whether that enemy team improve, because I have been in games, and I'm sure you guys have been in games, where you'll have a bad round. You have a terrible, terrible round where everyone gets annihilated. For example, alright, this one right here, the enemy team, they're not really pushing forward as strongly as they could be, but they are kind of trying, they're not just sitting back in the base. I think this team right here that we're playing against, they have some players who are trying to move up, and some that are just sitting back, and that's what's holding those players back. And I have been in this situation myself on this map. But as I say, the real thing, what it will come down to, is that you need to give people a chance to see whether they will improve from game to game. And if they don't, alright, if it continues to be really bad, at that point I will say, okay, the enemy team are not doing great, we need to, balance this around. But again, people that actually know me properly and will play with me know that when I play games, all I'm interested in is having a good game. That's what I want. I'm not interested in dominating an enemy team. I'm not interested in getting like a massive load of wins or a huge KD or a huge score. All I want is good, balanced games. And I get messages constantly from people who have played on my server saying, Luton, playing on your server I've had some of the best Battlefield 3 games that I've had in the past month, if not forever. Okay, and I can screenshot these because I get these sent to my inbox and stuff regularly. In fact, I posted one up today on my Twitter that somebody sent to me saying exactly this, that he'd had like the best games he's played on Battlefield 3 on my server. And the reason is because I try for the most part to balance the teams up to ensure that we have reasonable gameplay between the two. And a favourite saying of mine that I have said to many people and many of the guys that I play with regularly is that I would rather have a good loss than a steamrolling win. I would rather have a loss where you and your team have had a good fight, and okay, maybe you didn't come out the best overall, but at least you had a really damn good fight. I would rather have that than, well, if you want to use the terminology, I'd rather have that than have a stacked team which just absolutely destroys the enemy. So that's really my thoughts on this today. I'll be really interested to hear what you guys think about team stacking. I'd be interested to think about, sort of, if you've played on my server, I'd be interested to sort of hear what you have to say about it. But not too much, because I know how my server goes down, and it may be that when you played on it, I was not present, or it was just a bad day. But also, I know for a fact that we've had some astonishingly good days where we've had rounds and rounds and rounds of really, really, really excellent gameplay. If you're interested in playing on my server and you are on the PS3, all you need to do is search Lutin in the server browser. My server actual title changes, but I always keep my name in the title, so all you need to do is search and you'll find Lutin in the server browser there. And also, the thing is, people that know me, people that play with me, it's unusual that on my server I would probably have more than 4 people that I regularly play with on my team. So at least 2/3 are usually random players, and that goes for this team. I think there's 4 or 5 players on this team right now who I regularly play with. The rest are all randoms. So, I think that says about this as much as anything else. The other thing that I would say is that, again, I have actually showed on videos before, and people that play with me will know that this happens. You can ask them, alright? I have been in situations before where the enemy team, like right now, in fact it's happened on this map before, okay, it's actually been on this map but others as well. I will sometimes see that the other team is getting so destroyed, but they are kind of, I don't know, they need someone to kind of like, kick the morale up and say, come on, let's do this. I have regularly put myself from a team that's doing very, very well like this to the losing team. I will move myself across and I will get on that team. I'll put team speak on, and I will say, come on guys, we need to get going here, we need to get in the mix. I will start pushing forward, I'll break the line, and we may not win the game, but as I say, at least we sort of turn a game where nobody is trying into a game where at least we're getting a little bit of something out of it, and those players start to kind of respond and they go, oh hey, actually some players are actually trying, we can try too. So that was my little thoughts here, guys, and as I say, I just wanted to sort of talk about this a bit because it annoys me when people just start throwing around this team stacking concept, because to be honest, I think it's complete crap. I think it's just a word, it's a phrase for when people have had a really bad game and they just are looking for something to stick it onto. So that's all there is. In Battlefield you have bad games, you have good games, but for the most part on my server when I try to play, I try to ensure that we have objective, balanced games, but you can't win it all. And at the end of the day, that's just what it comes down to. If you've enjoyed this video, guys, then please, as always, just drop it a rate and a share. It really helps me out. And last thing to say is that next week I've got a roundtable coming up with Rival X Factor, Level Cap and Matimio. If you have any topics you're interested in hearing the group's thoughts on, please put them below. And if they are good enough or I think they're interesting enough, I'll drop them into the discussion. Thanks for watching and see you next time.